My own parents and sister laughed while I was in a coma. They tried to steal my inheritance, sell my home, and even get rid of my unborn baby while I lay helpless in a hospital bed. But here is the thing they didn't account for. I wasn't brain dead. I was locked inside my own body, hearing every single evil word they said. And when I finally woke up, I destroyed them all. This is a story about blood betrayal, survival, and the most savage revenge you have ever seen. Hey friends, before we dive into this captivating story, please take a couple of seconds to like and subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is for you right now. And don't forget to share your thoughts on this story. I'd really love to hear your opinion. Alright, grab a cup of coffee and let's begin. My name is Victoria, and I need to tell you about the day my life ended. Except it didn't end. Not really, but the people who were supposed to love me the most wanted it to. God, how they wanted it to. It started on the night of my 25th birthday. It was supposed to be a celebration, a black tie gala at our family estate, but really, it was the night I was set to inherit my grandmother's entire fortune. 16 hours into the party, I felt exhausted, but not the good kind of tired. It was a heaviness that sat in my bones. I remember standing at the top of the grand marble staircase, looking down at the guests. My father, Richard, stood at the bottom, checking his watch with an impatience that made my stomach turn. He wasn't looking at me with pride. He was looking at the time, counting down the minutes until midnight when the trust fund would legally transfer to my name. My sister, Jessica, was standing next to him, sipping champagne and glaring up at me with eyes full of green envy. I took the first step down, desperate for a little fresh air, for comfort, for anything other than the suffocating greed filling the room. But then, I felt a shove. Or maybe a slip. To this day, the memory is a blur of motion and terror. I tumbled. 16 steps of solid marble. The pain came in waves so powerful I thought I might break in half. I remember landing at the bottom, my body twisted in an unnatural angle, looking up at them through my tears. I was desperate for help, for my father's hand, for my mother's voice. But my father wasn't looking at me. He was on his phone. Actually on his phone while I was gasping for air, my vision swimming. My mother, Catherine, just stood there, smoothing her dress, worried about a spilled drink on the rug. The paramedics arrived, and voices swirled around me. I felt it before anyone else did. This coldness spreading beneath me. A terrifying numbness. The paramedic's face went white. He pressed a radio button, and suddenly there were people everywhere shouting medical terms I didn't understand. The last thing I heard clearly was the EMT yelling. "She's posturing. Pupils are blown. We're losing her." My vision started to blur, darkening at the edges like someone was slowly turning down the lights on my existence. The chaos of the party faded into a dull roar. And in that moment, as everything faded to black, I heard my father's voice. Not crying, not panicking, just asking flatly, "Did she sign the papers yet?" Not, "Is my daughter okay?" Not, "Save her, please save her." Just concern for the papers. That should have told me everything I needed to know. Then there was nothing. Complete darkness. Complete silence. I thought that was it. I thought I was dead. But then I started to hear things. Muffled voices. The sound of wheels on linoleum. Cold air on my skin. I tried to open my eyes, tried to scream, tried to move even a single finger. Nothing worked. My body was a prison and I was trapped inside it. I heard a sheet being pulled over my face. I felt the texture of it against my nose, my lips. I heard a doctor's tired voice. Time of incapacitation, 11:47 p.m. And I was screaming inside my head. I'm not dead. I'm alive. I'm right here. But no sound came out. Nothing moved. I was being wheeled somewhere. I could feel the motion. Hear the squeaking wheels. The ICU? The morgue? Oh God, where were they taking me? The bed I was transferred to was so cold beneath my back. I could feel every degree of that cold, but I couldn't shiver. Couldn't react. I heard a nurse humming some song while adjusting tubes. Heard him moving around, preparing to do whatever it is they do to broken bodies. My mind was racing with terror. This is how it ends, I thought. Conscious but paralyzed while they wait for me to expire. The nurse's voice cut through my panic. Wait, I think I see some brain activity on the monitor. Oh my God, call the doctor back. The next few hours were chaos. I was rushed into imaging. I heard machines beeping, people shouting orders, my father's voice in the distance asking what was happening with the legal timeline. And then a doctor, Dr. Evans, explaining something to my parents in a calm, professional tone that made my blood run cold. Your daughter is in what we call a locked-in state, or potentially a persistent vegetative state. It's an extremely rare condition from the trauma. She's in a deep coma, but there's a possibility she can hear and process what's happening around her, even though she can't respond in any way. We have her on life support now. There was a long pause, and then my father asked, and I'll never forget the tone of his voice. Can she recover? It's unlikely, the doctor said. Maybe a 5% chance. She could be like this for months, years, or she may never wake up. I waited for my mother to break down, to cry, to beg them to do everything possible. Instead, I heard her say, I need to call the estate lawyer. And she walked away. That's when I heard her voice for the first time. My sister, Jessica. I'd always known she was jealous of me, but the coldness in her voice that day was something else entirely. So she's a vegetable now? Jessica said it like she was asking about a piece of furniture she wanted to throw out. We don't use that term, the doctor replied, clearly uncomfortable. How long do we keep her like this? Jessica pressed. What's the protocol? She is brain dead and costing the estate money every minute she lays there. I'm asking you, doctor, what are our options? I heard the doctor sigh. After 30 days, if there's no improvement, the family can discuss options regarding life support. 30 days, Jessica repeated. That's manageable. They left, and I was alone with the beeping machines and my screaming thoughts. But then, through some miracle or curse, I heard them again. They didn't leave the room. They just moved to the seating area in the corner of my private suite, thinking I was nothing more than a corpse with a heartbeat. My father's voice, my mother's voice, and Jessica's voice. This is actually perfect, my mother was saying. Perfect. My father sounded confused. Catherine, my daughter is in a coma. Exactly, she snapped. She's as good as dead. Richard, think about it. She didn't sign the transfer papers before midnight. The inheritance stays in the trust, and as her next of kin, if she is declared incapacitated, we get power of attorney. And Jessica can finally step into her rightful place as the face of the company. But she's still technically alive, my father said. And I noticed he didn't sound horrified. He sounded uncertain, like he was working through a business deal. Not for long, my mother said. Hospitals hate keeping hopeless cases. Give it 30 days, then we pull the plug. Clean legal. No one will suspect anything. We tell everyone it was a tragic accident. What about her fiancé, Liam? My father asked. I'll handle him, my mother replied. We tell him she's already deteriorating. We ban him from the hospital. Tell security he's a disturbance. He'll never know the difference. Jessica's voice was soft, almost gentle, but dripping with poison. Are you sure about this, Mom? She asked, but I could hear the smile in her voice. I've never been more sure of anything. Soon you'll have everything you've ever wanted, Jessica. The house, the money, the jewelry, everything. I was screaming inside my head. I was screaming so loud. I thought surely someone would hear. But my body lay still as death. 3 days later, my sister came into the room. I could smell her perfume. It was heavy, floral, and expensive. It was my perfume. She was wearing my scent. Can you believe it? She whispered to someone on the phone. I'm sitting right here next to her. She looks terrible. Just a shell. I felt her hand on my hand. Not to hold it, but to pull at my finger. She was taking my engagement ring. The vintage diamond Liam had given me. It was always too big for her anyway, she muttered, sliding it off my limp finger. I'll get it resized tomorrow. Then my parents walked in. They were laughing. Actually laughing. The lawyer said it's a loophole, my father chuckled. Since she has no children and isn't married yet, the entire estate reverts to us once the life support is off. That's amazing, Jessica replied. I've already started redecorating her wing of the house. I'm throwing out all those tacky paintings she loved. The grandmother is very controlling, one nurse whispered later that evening, thinking I couldn't hear. She won't even let the patient's fiancé visit. Said he's too emotional, not on the approved list. That's awful, the other nurse replied. And did you see the sister? She's wearing the patient's clothes. She's already acting like she owns the place. I know it's sick. The poor woman's not even dead yet, and they've already replaced her. Not even dead yet. Those words echoed in my mind. I was a ghost haunting my own life, watching it be stolen piece by piece. Liam tried to visit on day 5. I heard the commotion in the hallway. I have a right to see her. She's my fiancée, his voice cracked with emotion. I'm sorry, sir, the security guard said. You're not on the approved visitor list. The parents have a restraining order pending. You need to leave. Tell them they're liars. Liam shouted before being dragged away. Tell Victoria I love her. Hearing his voice broke me in a way the fall hadn't. My parents had told him I didn't want to see him. Tears rolled down my face, the only thing my body would do, and a nurse wiped them away gently, thinking it was just an automatic response. By day 7, Jessica had moved into my master suite at the estate. I knew because she bragged about it while sitting by my bed, eating a salad. The view from your balcony is much better than mine, she said between bites. And I sold your car today. Got a great price for it. Cash. They'd thrown away all my photos, redecorated the house, changed everything that reminded them of me. On day 14, my mother met with the family attorney in the hospital room. She didn't even bother to step into the hall. That woman is actually discussing liquidating assets while her daughter is right there. A nurse whispered to another outside the door. My mother was asking when they could access the offshore accounts. The lawyer told her, not until death is declared and the death certificate is issued. She actually smiled and said, that's day 30. Perfect. We have the memorial service scheduled for the afternoon of the 31st. They were counting down the days until they could kill me legally. But then on day 20, everything changed in a way none of us expected. Dr. Evans requested an urgent meeting with my parents. I heard my father's annoyed voice in the hallway. What now? I'm very busy. We have a board meeting. Mr. and Mrs. Sterling, it's about your daughter's condition. There's something that came up in the latest scans. Dr. Evans sounded nervous. I'm listening, my father said. Your daughter is pregnant. Approximately 8 weeks along. The silence that followed was deafening. What? My mother's voice was a shriek. What did you just say? Victoria is pregnant. The baby is healthy and developing normally despite the trauma. And why wasn't I told? My father demanded. We just confirmed it. The hormone levels were erratic due to the injury, but the ultrasound confirmed it today. Does anyone else know? My mother asked, her voice trembling. Just the medical staff. We assumed you would want to know because this changes the medical approach. We need to focus on sustaining the pregnancy. Don't tell anyone else, my father hissed. No one. Do you understand? Dr. Evans hesitated. Mr. Sterling, this is your grandchild. This is an heir. I said don't tell anyone. I need to think. And he walked away. Within an hour, my father was back with my mother and Jessica. I heard every word through the thin curtain of consciousness I had left. My mother was furious. Pregnant? Why didn't she tell us? Who is the father? It has to be Liam, Jessica spat. That loser. This complicates everything, my mother hissed. If she has a child, the trust fund doesn't revert to us. It skips a generation. The money goes to the baby. And Liam becomes the legal guardian of the fortune. So, what do we do? Jessica asked. There was a long, terrible pause. Then my mother said something that made my heart monitor spike so violently that alarms went off. We get rid of it. What? Jessica sounded shocked but excited. The pregnancy. We terminate it. We tell the doctors it's a medical necessity. That the pregnancy is putting too much strain on Victoria's heart. That to save her, even though we plan to let her go anyway, we have to terminate the pregnancy first. You want to get rid of the baby? My father said, but his voice lacked conviction. It's not a baby, my mother snapped. It's a complication. It is an obstacle to $50 million. One baby means we lose everything. No baby means we keep it all. Do you want to be bankrupt, Richard? Your mother is right, Jessica added quietly. It's cleaner this way. No heir, no lien, no complications. The alarms were still going off. Nurses rushed in, checked my vitals, tried to figure out what caused the spike. One nurse looked at my face and gasped. Her eyes, she's tracking. Look at her pupils. Reflexes, another nurse said dismissively. Happens with neurological trauma. But the first nurse didn't look convinced. She left my room and immediately found a supervisor. I heard them talking in hushed, urgent tones outside. Something's wrong. The patient's heart rate spiked right when those people were discussing. I think she can hear them. I think she heard what they're planning. They were talking about terminating a pregnancy against the patient's will. We need to call the ethics board, the supervisor said. And security. If they are planning to falsify medical consent, that's criminal. Can we prove it? We have to try. That night, day 29, just hours before they were scheduled to sign the papers to terminate my pregnancy and then pull my life support, something miraculous happened. Or maybe it was pure maternal rage that brought me back. Maybe my body finally listened to my mind screaming at it to move, to fight, to wake up. At 11:47 p.m., my right index finger twitched. The night nurse saw it. She called the doctor. By midnight, my fingers were moving consistently. By 1 a.m., my eyes were fluttering. And at 2:17 a.m. on day 29, after nearly 30 days in hell, my eyes opened. The first word I managed to whisper was baby. Dr. Evans was there. Victoria, can you hear me? Can you understand me? My baby, I whispered. Don't let them. His eyes widened. You know about the pregnancy? I looked directly at him, and I let him see everything in my eyes. All the pain, all the rage, all the knowledge. I heard everything, I rasped. Every single word. For 29 days. The doctor's face went pale. Everything. The will. I whispered, my voice getting stronger with each word. The ring. The plan to pull the plug. The plan to send my baby to the other side. Within minutes, there was a flurry of activity. The hospital legal team was called, security was notified, and I asked them to call Liam. When he walked into my room 3 hours later and saw me sitting up, awake, alive, he collapsed. He buried his face in my blanket and sobbed. They told me you were gone, he said through his tears. They said you were brain dead. I've been sleeping in the parking lot. I know, I said, stroking his hair with a trembling hand. I heard everything. I'm going to destroy them, Liam. But I need your help. I told him all of it. Every evil word, every cruel plan. The lawyer's face grew more horrified with each detail. This is conspiracy to commit murder, he said. Fraud, theft, medical malpractice, interference. We need to contact the police immediately. There's something else, I said. The cameras in the house. My grandmother installed hidden security cameras in the library and the grand hall years ago. My parents don't know they record audio. They would have captured the conversation after the fall. The one where they didn't call 911 immediately. Liam called the police within the hour. Turned out I'd been more prepared than I knew. My grandmother's estate security system was cloud-based. We accessed the footage. It captured everything. My fall, my sister laughing at the top of the stairs, my father checking his watch, my mother checking the vase. At 10 a.m. on day 30, the exact time they were scheduled to sign the termination papers and pull the plug, my parents and Jessica walked into the hospital. My mother was carrying papers. Jessica was wearing my favorite silk scarf. They were laughing about something. They walked toward the private suite, and Dr. Evans intercepted them. Before you go in, he started. We don't have time, my mother snapped. We have the legal papers. We're authorizing the procedure to terminate the pregnancy, and then the withdrawal of care. I really think you should reconsider, Dr. Evans tried again, but my mother pushed past him. My father and Jessica followed. They opened the door to my room. I was sitting up in bed, fully awake, staring right at them. The coffee cup in my father's hand fell to the floor and shattered. Jessica let out a scream. My mother actually stumbled backward into the doorframe. Hello, Mother. I said, my voice clear and strong. Surprised to see me? My father's mouth opened and closed like a fish. No words came out. What's wrong? I continued. You look like you've seen a ghost. But I'm not a ghost, am I? I'm very much alive. And so is my heir. This isn't possible, my mother whispered. You were a vegetable. No, I said. I was locked in. There's a difference. And you know what's interesting about that state? Sometimes you can hear everything. Every single thing. Jessica tried to run, but when she turned, there were 2 police officers standing in the doorway. Nobody move, one of them said. I looked at my father and I smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Did you bring the papers to get rid of my baby, Dad? Oh wait. You were planning to claim it was for my heart condition. I remember now. I heard that plan too. My father went completely white. Victoria, please, we were just doing what the doctors. Stop. I cut him off. Don't you dare lie to me. I heard you worry about the trust fund more than my life. I heard you laugh about my fall. I looked at Jessica. And you. I see you're wearing my ring. I pointed to her hand. She instinctively covered it. Taking jewelry off a comatose sister? That's a new low, even for you. My mother lunged forward, but the officers stopped her. You can't prove any of that. You were delusional. You couldn't hear. Want to bet? I gestured to the lawyer who was holding a tablet. Security footage from the house. Recordings of your conversations in this very room thanks to the witness statements of the nurses you ignored. Liam's testimony. The bank records showing you already tried to access the offshore accounts. Want me to go on? The police officer stepped forward. Richard Sterling, you're under arrest for attempted murder, fraud, and conspiracy. He looked at my mother. Catherine Sterling, you're under arrest for the same charges. He looked at Jessica. And you, miss, for grand larceny and conspiracy. Liam walked in then, standing beside me, holding my hand protectively. I looked at them one last time. The trust fund is mine, I said. The house is mine. And this baby, I touched my stomach, is the future. You are the past. My father was being handcuffed. He looked at me with something that might have been regret. Victoria, we're family. I cut him off. Don't you dare use that word. You are nothing to me now. Nothing. My mother was screaming obscenities as they led her away. Jessica was crying, her mascara running down her face, begging for someone to believe she was forced into it by our parents. But I was done listening to them. 3 months later, I stood in a courtroom and watched them all get sentenced. My father got 15 years for attempted murder, because neglecting to call 911 was proven to be intentional delay to cause death. My mother got 12 years for conspiracy and fraud. Jessica got 5 years for theft and accessory. I got full control of the estate. They lost everything. There's a restraining order. They have to stay 500 feet away from us for the rest of their lives. The house was renovated, scrubbing every trace of them from the halls. I started a foundation for victims of domestic financial abuse. It became a lifeline for thousands, and now I travel around the country speaking about betrayal and resilience. But my favorite part of every day is right now. I'm sitting in the nursery, watching my daughter, Hope, sleep in her crib. She is perfect. She is safe. My parents tried to bury me. My sister tried to erase me. But they forgot something important. I'm a mother now. And you don't mess with a mother's child. We bite back. My daughter will grow up knowing her mother fought for her from the edge of death. She'll know that love is stronger than greed, that truth always surfaces, and that karma never forgets. And me? I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Alive, wealthy, and free. They wanted me dead, but it's not that easy to send me to the other side. And I came back for everything they tried to take. And that's how I went from a coma victim to the owner of an empire. If this story shook you to your core, slam that like button and share this everywhere. Comment below. What would you have done to a sister like Jessica? And hit subscribe because more shocking true stories are coming your way. Remember, karma doesn't forget, and a mother's instinct is the most powerful force on earth. I'll see you in the next video.